Hello students, and welcome you all again to this video lecture series on chapter mechanical testing of metals. In last video we have seen the fatigue test. Now we will see the creep test. Firstly we will see what is a creep. So whenever a metal is subjected to a constant load, considered below its yield point and higher temperature for a prolonged period of time, it undergoes a permanent deformation. This tendency of metal is called as a creep. These all definitions we have seen in the first lecture itself, all the properties of metal. This is also one of the property of metal. Whenever the metal is subjected to a constant load at higher temperature for a prolonged period of time, it undergoes the permanent deformation. So this tendency of metal is called as a creep. Now consider that two springs are there, which is made up of consider that which is made up of aluminum. One spring is made up of aluminum and another by the lead. uh, in that case, if you just hang these two springs and observe this behavior of the springs, so you will observe that aluminum spring will be having the length, elongated length. Without application of load, you have to observe the lengths. You'll observe the length same or constant under the room temperature. And for the lead spring, you can observe that spring made by the lead, you can observe that there is a continuous change or continuous elongation without application of load with respect to time is there. So why this is happening? So it is because of this creep phenomena. So the creep is a time dependent process where a material undergoes an applied stress, exhibits a dimensional change at a higher temperature. Whenever stress is applied, then also it will go undergoes the creep. It is a constant load. That stress means a constant stress here we have applied. Or if no load is applied, then also there will be chances of undergoing the creep phenomena, but there is a effect of temperature. Secondly, the higher temperature progressive deformation of the material at a constant stress is called as a creep. The process is also a temperature dependent. Creep always increases with the temperature. Now remember, it is happening because the elongation of that lead spring is happening because its temperature, its melting point of that lead spring is very less, whereas the melting temperature of aluminum is relatively more than that lead spring. So whenever we kept both these two springs under the room temperature, then the melting point of that lead spring is less. That's why there will be continuous elongation occurring. It is due to one of the relation that the creep will occur whenever the melting temperature is nearly a 50%, sorry, the room temperature is the 50% of that melting point or melting temperature. So for such kind of material whose melting temperature is low, then there will be occurring of this creep phenomena. When a weight is hung from the piece of a lead and left for the number of days, the lead will stretch. This is said to be a creep. For example, here in the creep test, what we are doing, to this specimen we are applying certain amount of constant load or constant stress. Under constant stress, that leads or that specimen is kept for a certain number of time, for a certain period of time, and we are observing the change in length. That means strain we are observing with respect to time. How the strain is changed, that we are observing in the creep phenomena. And in the design purpose, this is also an important criteria for the design. Now the problems with the creep increases when the materials are subjected to the higher temperature. At higher temperature, creep phenomena will be more. That means without application of load, without application of stress, there will be change in the length. So this is not suitable, or this is not a preferred. This should be avoided. So at higher temperature, that creep phenomena will be observed more. The materials themselves have the low melting point, such as lead. There you can observe this creep phenomena. The creep can cause the material to fail at the stress well below the tensile stress, or well below the ultimate tensile stress. Below that ultimate tensile stress, the material will get fail due to the creep phenomena. So this is the test kit which is used for the creep test. Here that specimen is placed under the furnace. Here that furnace is used for making the temperature of that specimen constant. Either that will be for the different temperatures. Tests are carried out at room temperature, at certain increased temperature, at certain decreased temperature, and at another end of that specimen there will be application of load. So after that, whenever this experiment has done, we will get one strain, that means continuously change in length with respect to time for the constant loading. Here the stress or load is constant and strain is increasing. In the stress strain diagram also, for the tensile test, we have seen the creep phenomena. There also we have explained that creep. There we have seen that without application of stress, there will be change in the length. That is nothing but a creep occurring in that specimen. And due to creep, there will be elongation, that is generation of strain. So here that strain is changing with respect to time, and its graph is drawn here. So epsilon 0, you can observe here, that is the initial strain, and that is due to application of constant load or stress. After B point up to E point, you will observe that graph. It is continuously changing the strain with respect to time, but its graph is not a straight line. Its graph is having different curvatures, and those curvatures we have divided into three parts: B to C, C to D, and D to E. Those three parts are primary creep, secondary creep, and tertiary creep. Three parts we have divided: primary, secondary, and tertiary creep. So the primary creep is the slope of stress versus strain, slope of stress, strain versus time, and it decreases with respect to time. It is due to the work hardening of the specimen. That means there is a change in the strain with respect to time. It is relatively less. After that C point, in the secondary creep, generally that strain is remaining nearly constant or very less. And in between that C to D point, we are calculating the life of that specimen during creep, or creep life is also called as a creep life. So in the secondary or steady state creep, we can say it as a steady state creep also, the rate of straining is constant, nearly constant. The balance of work hardening and recovery, it is there. So at that point in between C to D, the strain is nearly constant, that slope is very less. So that is the life of that specimen under creep, that we can calculate with respect to that time, from that time. So after that secondary creep, next is a tertiary creep, or it is also called as a rapidly accelerating strain rate. It is going up to failure. In tertiary creep, the formation of internal cracks, voids, or grain boundary separation and necking will be formed in the tertiary creep. So in primary creep, there is a slow or gradual increase in the strain. In secondary creep, the strain is remaining constant. In tertiary creep, there is a rapid increase in the strain up to fracture point. These three stages are there during the creep. In the creep phenomena, three stages are there. Not immediately that specimen will break, it will undergo these three stages: primary creep, secondary creep, and tertiary creep. So in the tertiary creep there will be cracking occurring. That cracking can be precedes the rupture of the material, and that can be either transgranular or intergranular. That means these two figures you can observe for the transgranular failure and intergranular failure. That means whenever the crack will generated and that crack has passed through the boundaries of the uh, boundaries of the grains of that metal, that is called as an intergranular fracture. And whenever that crack has passed through the grains of that metal, then it is called as a transgranular failure. Through these two diagrams you can easily understand what is transgranular failure and intergranular failure. So how to avoid that creep failure? Creep is generally minimized in the material with the high melting temperature, or using the specimen at a less temperature than half of the melting point, or simply increasing the melting point of the material. Again, secondly, high elastic modulus and large grain size. The materials which especially resilient to creep or having more resistance to creep, these are stainless steel materials, refractory materials which containing molybdenum, tungsten, tantalum, like that, or superalloys. So stainless steel, refractory materials and superalloys are having uh, resistance to the creep, or they are less affected to creep. So this is regarding the creep phenomena and stress versus time curve for the creep. Thank you all.